It seems that this time of year, everyone and their brother comes out with a forecast or has an opinion on what home prices are going to do in 2024. Now, it's understandable that the big guys like the Zillows and the National Association of Realtors and Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac are believed more than individual agents like myself. But I will say the forecast I made for 2023 at about this time last year turned out to be pretty accurate, but I digress. Well, with those big guys in mind, Zillow have just released their home value index for the 50 largest housing markets in the country. And it does have some interesting information that I'm going to share with you in this video. And make sure you stick around until the end, as Fannie Mae and the Mortgage Bankers Association have just updated what they think mortgage rates are going to do in 2024 and beyond. Hi, this is Andrew with the Andrew Smith team, eXp Realty in Frisco, Texas. And in this video, I'm not going to go into a discussion or share with you what I think home prices here in Frisco are going to do in 2024, because I already did that. So if that's something that you're interested in, check out this video right here, and I cover that in detail. But with regards to Zillow, what the Zillow Home Price Index clearly does is demonstrate how local real estate really is, which I'm going to show you in just a second. Now, when you see generalized reports on the news or you see headlines online, it doesn't necessarily clearly give you a good indication of what's actually happening in your local market. So, for example, recent estimates for how home prices in 2023 would end up range from a low of up 0.1% to a high of being up 6.6% for the year. That's a pretty wide spread. When you average all of those forecasts together, it shows that home prices would be up about 4.6% in 2023. All right, so this is the Zillow Home Value Index I was talking about. And I got this information from Lance Lambert at Resi Club. He publishes information like this all the time, compiles it, makes it very easy to understand. And what's interesting is out of the 50 largest housing markets in the country, 38 markets have shown year-over-year increases, while 12 markets have shown declines. And the interesting thing about that is when you consider that the Fed raised rates and mortgage rates got over 8%, the fact that home prices did not decline further is pretty remarkable. And it is an indication of how big of a role supply and demand actually played in the market, because supply was low. So even though demand was hurt by the rising mortgage rates, supply never reached the point to put downward pressure on home prices for the vast majority of the country. Now, I'm not going to go through all 50, but I just want to highlight some of the main points here. All right, so the first column that we're going to be looking at is month over month from October to November. Then it shows year to date, then year over year. Then the shift since the peak is looking at what month had the highest home price in 2022 and how prices in these given markets have changed since that time. And then this looks at how much down or how far below and or above the peak home prices are when looking at the entire peak post-pandemic. And then when you consider the pandemic technically started in March 2020, this is how much home prices have increased in that time. So if we go back to that forecast I referenced just a minute ago on where home prices would end up in 2023, it was a wide spread. So which one was right? All of them. According to this data, every single one of those forecasts were right. It's just for different markets. So if we look at this, I mean, Hartford, Connecticut's at the top here, 12.1% year to date and 11.3% price increases year over year. And they're up 9.3% from their peak in 2022. And they're just slightly below the peak of all time since post-pandemic. So all of the areas shaded in blue here are up year over year. Anywhere you see red, that's indicating down. So when you look at this, it's kind of interesting. San Jose, month over month, is down, as is every market. That's normal. It's completely seasonal. It's what we see this time of the year. But year to date, they're up, but they are still down from their peak. Now, as I keep scrolling down here, you're going to get all the way down here before you finally get the US average. So for the average in the entire country, down 0.4% month over month. They're up 3.8% year to date and up 2.8% year over year. Now, as I'm based in Frisco, I'm going to scroll all the way down here to Dallas. And let's take a look at the Dallas metro. No, it's down 0.6% month over month. It is up 0.2% year to date. It's down 0.9% year over year and still down 5.4% for the peak, even though prices are still up 42.6% overall since March of 2020. So the main point I want to make on this chart is, as you can see, they're all over the map. The prices overall are everywhere. It just, again, goes to show how local real estate really is. Now, if you want to keep track of what's going on in the city or zip code most of interest to you, see the description directly below. In that description, I have got a link to my weekly Frisco market report. And you may say, I'm not interested in Frisco. That's okay. From that report, there's a search bar right at the top, and you can look up any city or zip code in the entire country and get that information updated on what exactly is going on in the neighborhood most of interest to you. Now, as we talk about real estate being local, as I just mentioned, I mean, as you can see, these numbers are all over the map, but they're also all over the map within a given metro. So for instance, I just shared with you the Dallas numbers. And what I want to show you right now, here in Frisco, what we're looking at is pricing over the last 3 years. And if we look at, I'm going to go to all construction types here. And if we look here, pricing in Frisco is down 6.8% year over year. You're like, wow, that's a big number. But again, these numbers are really volatile and they change depending upon the mix of properties included in the calculation. So yes, November to November, prices are in Frisco are down 6.8%. If we'd have looked at these numbers and compared October, they were completely flat. October 22 to 23, completely flat. If we go back to September, from September 22 to September 23, prices are actually up 8%. So as you can see, this varies a great deal. Now, here in the Frisco market, we have a lot of new construction. So here is how it compares when you start factoring that in. So the numbers I just referenced here are looking at what is going on for all construction types. If I look at just the resale market, it's not as volatile. In fact, year over year, as of November, we're sitting at a 3.2% decline. So much more level compared to what looking at all construction types. But look at new construction. They peaked back in July of 2022 at a median price of $922, and then they've come all the way down. They are, new construction prices are up again in November. So why is that? Why the big change? Well, new construction, at least here, is where all of the supply has been. So as certain communities closed out, new communities have opened up. The price points in those communities are all over the map. And it really just depends on what the mix of properties included in any given month are that influence these numbers. You've got some very expensive high-end properties coming on that are going to be closing in the next few months, which are going to skew these numbers back up. And so again, you just got to take all of this for what it is and not get overly caught up in what is forecast overall. When we look ahead specifically to 2024 and look at what all the experts have to say, here is where they currently are. So as you can see, the Mortgage Bankers Association is forecasting that prices are going to be up 4.1%. Zillow, the report we just went over, are forecasting that prices are going to be down 0.2%. Realtor.com down 1.7%. When you average all of these together, you're at about 1.5% appreciation overall for the year. And that is as of November 30th. This was just updated. But again, it can vary from market to market. So go ahead and check out that market report for the most latest information on your market. Now, as mentioned, at the end here, I am going to give you some information on what's going on with regards to mortgage rates. As we know, over the past few weeks, they have come down. As a matter of fact, they went down 0.25% just last week and are now currently sitting in the high sixes for the most part, which is great. But what does that mean going forward and into 2024 and beyond? Well, the Mortgage Bankers Association and Fannie Mae have just released their forecast, and they do think that mortgage rates are going to continue trending down. If we look at it, they think by Q2 of 2024, rates are going to be between 6.6 and 6.8%. Now, considering we're already at 6.8%, unless something changes, I actually think the 6.6 is a little high and it's going to trend down from there. If we look about a year's time from now, the forecasts or rates will be between 6 and 6.5. Personally, and I'm not an economist by any means, but I think rates are going to be closer to 5.75 to 6.25 based upon the latest information. If we continue this forecast out as of right now, according to Fannie Mae and the Mortgage Bankers Association, by the end of 2025, rates should be between 5.5 and 6%. And the majority consensus, at least what I have seen, is that rates will finally settle back somewhere in the fives. The idea that we're getting back into the threes is just not realistic. Nobody really sees it happening again. Not saying it never could, but it's not forecast by anybody that I'm aware of at this time. And most of the experts out there are thinking that rates are going to settle in the 5 to 5.5% range, and that will be our new normal going forward. So hopefully you found some value in this video. If you have, I invite you, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and that way you'll know each and every time I put out new videos like this and about communities around the Frisco area. And stay tuned for one of these videos coming up next.